Namaste. I am Gloria Grace, spiritual alignment coach who works with women entrepreneurs to clear the inner blocks, keeping you stuck so you can live the life you want now. And if this is your first time watching live on social media or listening to this podcast, or maybe you're a wonderful, awesome, amazing regular subscriber, welcome. I am so glad you are here today. And I'm really excited about today's topic because it's something that has been on my mind lately. It's something I've been dealing with. So let's just get right into it. Do you have a morning routine that you follow? Something that you do every day? Perhaps you get up in the morning and you make sure that you spend some time exercising, or maybe you do a mindfulness practice. Maybe you do meditate, something one of my favorite practices. Maybe you like to read spiritual literature. Maybe you just like to read the morning paper. Do people still do that? I don't know. I'm showing my age because it's online most places now. You can't really hardly find a physical paper anymore. Whatever you do, I have found that morning routines are really great for setting the tone of your day. When you have a practice that you stick to every day, it's like any type of a healthy habit. It is something that will, s- as I say, it sets you off on a good start for the day. It's something that you you've got it done, and now you can go ahead and do the rest of your day because you've put in the time to do something that is good for you mentally, good for you physically, good for you spiritually. Ideally, if you could do something or a few things, incorporate those into your morning routine that do serve your whole self. That is the best way to go. And in fact, I know I've read studies before, and I should have looked it up before I started today's broadcast, that successful people, really successful people do that. They do have practices, they do have a morning routine that they follow every day, and it's something that is a non-negotiable for them. And what is a non-negotiable? And I'm gonna come back to the habits, but let's go into non-negotiables. A non-negotiable is something that you're gonna do no matter what. No matter what. Whether it's, let's say that your non-negotiable is running every day. When I was training for a marathon, that was my non-negotiable because I had to get out every day. And even if it was raining, I went out and ran in the rain because it was my non-negotiable. It was something I was committed to do because I was training for a marathon and I wanted to be able to put those miles in no matter what. Not to mention the fact that when the day of the marathon came, it could be raining. So if I had already practiced running in the rain, it wouldn't be something that would trip me up come race day. So that's an example of a not negotiable, and it provides a level of stability and predictability. It helps you to stay grounded. Now, that being said, let's go back and talk about a morning routine in general, or any type of regular practice that you have. As I said at the beginning, these are great because, like a non-negotiable, it's something that gives you structure and consistency and stability, and it can support, depending on what you're doing, better mental, physical, and emotional health. Now, that being said, there are times when you've been doing a routine for a long time, when you have been engaging in certain practices every day. We're human, and it can lead to boredom. And you can feel like, oh no, I really need to go out and do this again today. There's some days we just don't feel like it. And if it's not a non-negotiable for you, this is where you get to decide. Okay, do I want to continue to, let's say, do I want to continue to walk for 30 minutes every morning? I'm really not feeling it today. What could I do instead? Maybe I could do yoga instead of walking for a while. And last year, that was me. I love walking, and it's one of my things that I love to do. And it started getting, I think maybe it was during the summer when it was really hot. I live in Florida, and it can get quite humid and hot here in the summertime. I think that's when it was. So I decided, what else can I do that will provide exercise for my body, but won't require me going out and walking in 85-degree weather? So I said, let's see. I'll go to YouTube. I've got a lovely big screen TV. Let me find some yoga on YouTube. And that's what I did. I started doing yoga every morning instead. And it was nice. And now that I'm thinking about it, I did that for a while, and then I quit. And here's an idea for you. When you're wanting to shake things up, it doesn't have to be either or. Like, okay, I've been doing this one thing, I'm going to stop now, and now every day I'm going to do this. It doesn't have to be that way. Instead, maybe you do the new thing once or twice a week instead. Humans crave variety. We like structure and we like variety. And that's one way to be able to do it. You can try something new a couple days a week. Here's another example. I had been following a dietary plan. Now, this gets away from the morning routine, but as an example, I was eating a certain way last year for several months, and I loved it. And it was great. It felt good, tasted good. I was releasing weight. It was lovely. And then it started getting boring because I found myself fixing the same meals week after week. Then someone introduced me to this wonderful service called Green Chef. And it's one of these home delivery programs where they will send you ingredients and then you can cook your meal, and everything. You don't have to go to the store to do all the shopping. So everything comes to your door once a week, and you've got 3 or 4 meals to cook. Great. It was wonderful, giving me some variety. Now I've been doing that for a while, and I'm thinking, I think I'm going to put the pause on it for a little bit while and go back to cooking the way I was cooking because I miss those foods now. Oh, and I love that somebody commented about that. Yeah, they're doing the same type of thing, and I love that. So thank you, Sheila, for commenting about that. So sometimes as I said, sometimes we need variety. Sometimes we like to have things to be the same. And I want to now go back to talking about non-negotiables. I think no matter what you do in your morning routine, if you have one non-negotiable, I think that is important because that does give you that structure that then you can play around with the other things and you can have that variety. So for me, my non-negotiable, meditation. No matter what, every morning I make time for meditation. Normally, I love to meditate for an hour, but there are some days where, for instance, if I'm traveling somewhere and I have to get up really early to go to the airport, I may only meditate for 15 minutes, maybe only 10 minutes, whatever. But I have to spend that time in the quiet because that sets the tone for my day. It grounds me, it gives me that foundation. And everything else I can play around with a little bit. So I encourage you to think about that. Whether or not you have a morning routine, to have pick one non-negotiable that you can commit to every day. And again, it could be some people like to pray, some people like to read from the Bible. Whatever that is, pick it and stick to it, and then give yourself the grace to change things up, other practices that you do. And I strongly encourage you to have something in your morning routine that serves you in all three levels, your mental, your physical, your emotional. Actually, let's say four. I'm going to include spiritual. As an example, share mine. So my typical morning routine includes meditation. I do some light language channeling, which I'll share with you later today. I will then do some spiritual reading after I feed the cats. Oh no, wait, I feed them before I meditate. Okay, they're my other non-negotiable. I have to feed the cats. So meditate, I do some spiritual reading, and then I'll do some exercise. And I will tell you that over the last few weeks, I've changed the order of when I do some of these things. That's another important point too, is that that's another way that you can incorporate variety. For a while, it was definitely that. It was meditation, go for a walk, and then read. And that was the order of things that I did every day, no matter what. And then I got bored with that. And then also it got cold, and I didn't want to go out walking first thing in the morning when it was super cold. So I started reading first and then going for a walk. So it doesn't have to be that you totally change things out. It can be that you change the order. And that's a simple way, again, to be able to get variety. So I hope you appreciate that today. And if you do have any questions about that, I would love to chat with you about it. So go to my calendar, go to engagewithgloria.com, and let's set up a time. If you have any questions, it's free to spend a few minutes chatting with me. No biggie, it doesn't cost anything to chat. So definitely do that. All right. I always love to share a daily word with you. And I was wondering, okay, what would be a good word to share that goes along with what we're talking about today about non-negotiables and shaking things up and routines and all of this. And finally, I was trying different words, and I thought, I think I put whatever it was. The word that came up, I think is a good one, is progress. So I want to share the daily word from November 27th, 2012. And the affirmation is, practice makes progress. And the reading says, chipping away at an unfinished project or striving to adopt a positive new habit may at times leave me feeling disheartened. I may even want to throw in the towel. To stay encouraged, I remind myself, practice makes perfect. Or better yet, practice makes progress. Rather than trying to be perfect, I practice to keep moving in the right direction. Every bit of progress is good, even if it falls short of perfection. The affirmation, practice makes progress, keeps me motivated and gives me the energy boost to keep going. I continue taking small yet significant steps without stress or discouragement, and I feel a growing sense of accomplishment. Practice really does make great progress. And there's a scripture reading, and this is from 1 Timothy 4:15. Put these things into practice, devote yourself to them so that all may see your progress. And I love that. I love that. We always used to hear practice makes perfect, practice makes perfect, but no, practice makes progress. Let's face it, we're human beings. We are perfectly imperfect. And to have progress is what it's all about. And I'm going to share one other personal example. Again, one of the things that has been, I wouldn't say an issue, but it's something that I've dealt with all of my life, has been striving to be healthy and enjoying unhealthy foods from time to time. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say, because I do. Hey, I like cookies, I like popcorn, I like ice cream once in a while. And at the same time, too much of that is not exactly good for my body. And frankly, my body lets me know when I have too much of that. Over the holidays, I was indulging a little bit too much, and my body said, "Hey, cut it out." So I did. What was the point I was going to make about this? Oh, wow. Okay, that was interesting. Oh, yes, I remember now. I apologize. Progress. Practice makes progress. So I do from time to time track my weight and see how I am, because I like to track my progress. And so I weighed myself this week, and then I looked in my journal. I do have a food journal, especially when I get really serious about watching what I'm eating. I like to keep track of it. And from where I am today versus where I was a year ago, I am lighter. And that shows to me, even though I was a lot lighter a few months ago, the fact that I'm still under where I was a year ago tells me I'm making progress. And it's okay for me to indulge once in a while, as long as I don't go too far. So the fact that I'm still below where I was a year ago shows me that practice makes progress. And practice of eating habits, healthy eating habits, is making progress. And here's a really good example that sometimes when I do decide to indulge, I have found that I don't need to eat as much as I used to. I can have a bite of something and it satisfies me, and I don't have to overindulge. So that's a wonderful thing that I know all of the work that I've been doing on myself is helping me. It really is really helping me. And one of the things that I have found that helps me tremendously, especially recently in getting me back on track, has been sharing light language with myself. As I mentioned earlier, that's one of the things that I do every morning. So I'm going to share some light language with you today. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time and you've like, what is light language? I would encourage you to go check out a previous episode that I did that, in fact, I think it was last week's actually, or 2 weeks ago, where I really go into in depth what it is. But to give you the short version, light language is a form of sound healing, and it is a channeled sounds. It can also be written, but what I share on the podcast is a spoken and sung messages that communicates with your soul. It's something that your brain doesn't necessarily understand. It's not going to be able to translate it necessarily, but trust that your soul is receiving it and your soul is hearing the message, and that's the most important thing. And when I share this, it is always intended to be for your soul's highest good. So my intention today is to share with you. I'm going to ask my higher power. I'm going to ask for divine message to come through that will support you in creating a healthy routine for yourself, a healthy physical, spiritual, mental, emotional routine that serves you and also serves you in whatever other way that you need support with today. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And if you are listening to this while you're driving, as always, I encourage you to pause this and come back to the podcast later and listen to it somewhere where you can just sit quietly, eyes open, eyes closed, whatever works for you, and just receive the message today. 𝗵𝘃𝗃 𝗵𝘃𝗃𝗃 𝗵𝘃𝗃𝗃𝗃 아니야 노코레타 기아테 오쇼야 나기하 오쿠야세 올니야 노코레타 기하 세코후야 소야로 고야다 오쇼노 고야타 카헤 오야 소야노 에코쇼 고야타 케야타 𝗵ში𝗂𝗂 고야타 케야바타 엘레오노 키라타 데야타 크리아타 테 카샤코타 고야반 아콜야나 키야타 리쇼코리아타 키야타 키야 클야타 디야 샤카타 케야타 오칼리아파타 키야나 티 쇼코쇼코레마나 리아타 클리아파타 티카디야 테아카 Oriana crea boru shakariata kikabriota kushakata crea mania nanegiata e creato coria di care o ban creata kia shakadioto koyata e shokodio no kukalia patakiata e shokodio mania to crea pata creata crea pachi anno koya pata Oriana kiha yo no kiha yo no Ario no kuwata ke ka hoana ke oshikohu Ario no koe ka huyato Asoyo no kika hoye o konya na kiha. Thank you all for listening today, for watching. I am so grateful to have you in my life. I really am. I am so grateful for all of you who have been, whether you're here for the first time, if so, I am so glad and grateful. And whether or not you're a longtime listener or watcher, just know that it is my great honor to serve you and to share these messages with you. And if you ever want to be able to learn more about light language, perhaps you want to experience a private session with me as well, go to heal.me/Gloria, and you will be able to set up a free 15-minute consultation, and we'll talk more about it, because I know for me, in working with clients in this, they have gotten tremendous benefits from it. Even at the very least, if it's just releasing some stress, that is a benefit right there, but it also does a lot more. I'll just leave you with that. So again, go to heal.me, that's HEAL.me/GLORIA. All right. And that's going to do it for today, for this edition of Live, Love, Engage. I so appreciate you, as I said before. And if you receive value out of this today, I hope you will subscribe. If you're not subscribed already, share it with a friend. Subscribe on our YouTube channel at Gloria Grace Rand. And now I want you to, well, yes, I would like you. I want sounded very, I would like you to, and I encourage you to go out today and every day and live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically.